Hi everyone, it's the Tides Changing here, and welcome to part 5 of Let's Build a Rustic Inn. So my goal in this part is to get a good bit of the backyard landscaped, but before getting onto that, as usual, I do have a few tweaks to make. So first off, regarding the modern windows back here, some of you felt like the traditional ones looked better, but I'm going to keep these because I actually really like them and the view that they give, and plus I figure once the landscaping is done and all the interiors furnished, it might look a little bit better. Like there might be more rustic things to kind of counter the modernness of the windows. But first off, Sophia, LSFS, J. Jeekers, and Lindsay all said that I should remove the tiny windows, that they just look sort of odd. So I'm going to try removing them, and maybe it does look a little bit better without them, so I'll just keep those out for the time being. Also, Sharkasm23 said that the windows looked a bit better before the single ones were added in, and also Jess said that they felt like the single windows were a little bit too busy with all the columns and trim, so I'm just going to get rid of all the single windows and just replace it with the double ones, because, yeah, now that there's columns in there, there's a bit more detail going on, so I think this does look a little bit better, and I am going to keep these windows here because I think they give a pretty interesting look. And also, Tromfy said that I should try using thicker trim around the windows just to make it look a little bit different. So I will try that. I think this trim is a little bit thicker, but that's not quite the right colors. Maybe this one. Okay, so maybe not that one. Maybe this one. Although that's a little bit of a different color. But it does look, it's a slightly different color, but it does look, if I can get this on here. Okay. I wish I could change the color a little bit because it's a bit darker than this, but I'll try this, but I might actually just go back to where it was before, just because the colors don't quite match up, and I think it's a little bit too big. Yeah, if there's the right kind of trim and color, I definitely would like to have thicker trim, but it's either too thin or too thick, and I'd rather just keep it like that than have overly thick trim back there. But going back to the front, Caitlin suggested using the tree stump chairs instead of the rock ones, and that might actually look a little bit better, especially since you do have all of these rocks over here, so I'm going to try the tree stump chairs. So we'll just put that there. Also, Techie74 Matthew suggested putting the tree trunk tables and chairs throughout the yard just to kind of look like trees that were cut down. So I think that's a really cool idea. So I'll definitely have to do that around the yard some. So there it is with those chairs in there, and I definitely like how that looks a bit more. We can try some other colors, but I think I actually like the original color here best. Also, Amber suggested removing the lavender back here because it's the only place that was used and it might look sort of out of place because of that. So I'm actually just going to take this shrub here and put it around back and maybe put in this a little bit too. So I think that looks fine, and then I'm just going to get a little bit of terrain paint underneath of that. Okay, so that looks better. Also, maybe a smaller fern in there would look good, so maybe we get one of those in there too. So I'm going to just stick that around here perhaps, and then move this over a bit. Also, Iana suggested that I widen the path behind the tree a little bit, so to do that I'm just going to push the garden back here a slight bit. Also, Alex said that the stone path may need to be defined more since you can't really see it that well. And also, Xenwing said to stop the border, I'm guessing right around here. So I'm going to do all three of those off camera actually, just because they're kind of tedious changes that involve things that you all have seen quite a bit. So it'll save time if I just do it off camera. So I'll be back once those quick changes are done. I just got done spending the time on those changes. So going over here, I didn't really push the garden back too much. I think the rocks were out to here before, so it was pushed in just a slight bit, but I guess that slight bit did make a difference. I just didn't want to push it in too far and barely have a garden here. So that really didn't take much. And then around back here, as you can see, I just stopped the garden here. And as for the path, hopefully this is defined enough. Pretty much what I did was I just made it look like there was a little bit more dirt in between the rocks, and maybe that the grass was a little bit more worn. Because if this is a path that people are going to walk on, then I think it is realistic to have the grass be a little bit more beaten up and dead looking, because people might not always step on just the stones. So pretty much, really quickly, how that was done was I just had the stone, and then I put this dirt over it, and then a little bit of this too. And I think after that, I just went and put a little bit of the stone back on top of it. So as you can see, it just kind of, you still have the look of the stone on the grass, but it just looks like the grass underneath of it is a little bit more worn. So I'm just going to erase that really quick. So hopefully that's fine. And then I was thinking here, I did want to add in a bench, because there definitely needs to be something right here. So maybe I could add in this bench, or perhaps this one would look better. I just think it'd be nice to have a little bench around here so they can just sit. And I like this color, so I think I'm going to go with this color, and maybe next to it I could put one of the, maybe a rock. Is this the rock table? Yeah, this is the rock end table, so perhaps I could stick this here and then use, I think this color looks best. I think this blends best with everything. So we can do that, and then perhaps put one of the camping lanterns that came with Outdoor Retreat on top of it. So this one right here, we should be able to add that. And maybe there's, I don't know if there's a nicer one. I want a light that looks outdoorsy. So I think this is fine. And then we just make that black. So I guess that's fine. Maybe what I could also do is have a chair too. So maybe have the bench like here instead of centered, and then have the table, and then next to it have the chair that matches the bench. That might look kind of cool, because I wasn't sure what to do with the other side, and then I didn't want to put another end table in, and then I don't know if... I was thinking about putting a potted plant, but I don't really think that that would work that well there. Like, it might just look... there are already a ton of plants right around here, so I don't think we need to have a plant there as well. So we can try matching this. I'm not sure about how that looks, though. That might look sort of odd just to have this chair, so I think I'm actually going to go back to having it like this. You know what, maybe I will just put a potted plant down, because that's the only thing I can really think of. So I'll just make this a little bit larger using Shift and, it's the right bracket, like, just look for the bracket key above the Enter key, if you're not sure how to do this. Okay, so we can do that. I guess that looks fine. I'm also wondering if maybe one of the other benches would have looked a little bit better in there. So we do have this bench as well. This one's actually a little bit bigger. I think I like this one more. Okay, so I'm just going to leave this as is and then move on. So I'm going to make one last change in the front yard and then move on to the backyard. Techie74 suggested getting rid of this fake balcony here and putting in an actual balcony. And that is a good idea. That will help it blend in a lot better, since the colors on that balcony didn't really match. So unfortunately I can't just have floating floors. It has to sit on a foundation. So I'm going to have to put this in here, which is fine. I mean, the plants will kind of... Oops, I did not mean to grab that. The plants will sort of hide it, so it's fine. Like, they'll hide the foundation. So that's not really a huge deal. I'm actually just going to get rid of that fern there, and I'll put another small one in front here. I had a good spot for that. Okay, that's good. And then another one over here. Okay, and then I'm just going to get the foundation and flooring and the railings and all of that the same. And since this is now an actual balcony that they could potentially walk onto, I'm going to replace that window with a door. I think that would look a little bit better, you know, make a little bit more sense. And it does look a little bit bare, having nothing over this, so I'm thinking I could actually make this deck come over top of this balcony and make it a covered one. I think that might also help to give more detail to the spot, because I just feel like this spot right here just look kind of boring, need a little something more to it, so maybe that could be what it needs. So I'm just going to turn the grids on, and then get another little platform thingy out here to put up there. so now just move that up here. So now I just have to get the railings all straightened out and everything like that. So just get these in here and right there. I think this will kind of fix the fix up this area a little bit, just because this part right here I just haven't really been that happy with, and I've been trying to figure out how to make it look a little bit better. So this could be it. So okay, that didn't go in the right spot, but I'm just gonna get all the columns in place, and then I will put a roof over this, just because I think it would look better with a roof than being open. And then I'll put another column under here. So I don't think I maybe could just put a potted plant or something like that out on this, or maybe like a little gnome or something like that, just a little decoration out on here. I mean, it won't really be useful space, but it will at least look pretty cool. And now I just got to get some flooring under where that roof's gonna go. So just get this up there. And I also want to get the trim on it to, looks like it took away the trim that was right here on that roof. Okay, so we're gonna get that, get this trim here, and then now we just gotta get the roof over it. And I think that's it. So next we have to adjust the pitch and make sure that's right. I think that's good. I think that's about the same pitch that this has, so I'll just match the roof. Like I said, I might change the roof. Well, I probably will change the roof later on. This is just more of a placeholder until the whole exterior's done, just because I want to have that final picture before I go and make a final decision. So here is what we have now in the very front. I'm not sure if this... I think this is fine being a little bit narrower. I think it adds a bit of detail to this area and makes it kind of match the detail that's on the rest of it. So I think it's fine. I'm actually going to turn off the grid so we can get a look at it without that. But I definitely think this is an improvement to this area right here. I think that does look a lot nicer. So now I am actually going to move on to the backyard finally. So there's actually a lot less space back here than I thought there would be. A lot of you wanted to see a pool. There's also some suggestions to see a natural looking pool that kind of looked like a pond. But I don't think I'm going to quite do that because I can't really, there's just not enough space back here to really pull that off. Plus there's no curved edges, which I think is kind of what you need to give that pond look. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a regular old pool, but I will have a fountain with rocks and some plants in it on one end to give it kind of a natural look. I also wanted to fit in a gazebo back here with a wedding arch in it if possible, because I wanted to have a pool then a gazebo, and I'll just make the pool a little bit smaller to be able to fit that in, but I think it can work. And then I think we can also have room, maybe a horseshoe pit over here, a fire pit over here, maybe another cluster of trees, because Robert did suggest that I have a smaller cluster of trees over here, and maybe I could also throw in some of those tree trunk chairs to give the look of that. Some of them were cut down. I'm just going to get started on that, so I'll get the pool in. And I think that having it, I think I'll start it right here, give a little bit of space between this and the pool. So I think this is a fine enough size for it. There's not really room for anything big. And then we could have one space between this and the gazebo, so we get about this much space for a gazebo. So let me just put that in. And maybe it will look better if we just push that in, make it the same width as the pool. Okay, so it's not very big. I kind of wish there was more space in this backyard. Maybe we could push the pool back a little bit and then have this here, or we could just keep it in the same spot. So I think it's fine. The gazebo is going to be right in front of those windows, but I still think it could be fine because you're going to have fences, so you'll be able to see straight through, and plus it might be pretty to have a view of a wedding arch and all of that, and when you are on the second floor you will kind of see straight over it. So I think this is fine. I was thinking that I could use just the same wood used on the decks to kind of give the pool area a wooden deck kind of a look. I think that might work best for this place, so I'm just gonna have it come out like this, and then I'm thinking some diagonal tiles right here. So in case you don't know, you just type Control plus F to get the diagonal tile. So then I can place it diagonally, and then I'm thinking right in here could be some plants just at this end, and then at this end will be some more plants, like some rocks with some fountains coming out of them. I think that'd be really pretty. And then I will go diagonal over here just for 2 tiles to meet to where this is. And now I'm just going to get that on the other side. So on this wooden area, I can have some eating areas, since I'm not really going to be able to fit that on this gazebo. So on the gazebo can just be the wedding arch and some seating to watch the wedding. So I think that's fine, and then I will just use the same wood flooring on this, and the same foundation as well. And I'll have the stairs be on the side, so the stairs can just be right there on the side, and then I think I'll have stone path going up to the stairs, coming off of this. That might look better. I think it would look better to have a stone path coming off of this going up to these stairs rather than it just being more wood. So I think that could look kind of cool. So this could be a little bit cramped, but I mean it is kind of a residential, not residential, more of a community place, and community places tend to have, I guess, more landscaping, like fuller landscaping. So the decking on this side's a little bit wider, but I think that's fine. I don't think everything has to be perfectly symmetrical. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think I'll have another stone path coming around from here over to right here, and then I'll just pull this one in a little bit. So first I'll get just the stone down here, and then I'll have some plants in these little areas. So there will be some more plants around it, and then first a little bit of the dirt, so I'll just put that over it, and then go over it again with a little bit of the gravel, and then lastly just put a little bit of the stone back on top of it. So I think that's fine. I think we just need a little bit more stone right here though. Okay, so I think that looks good. Although maybe a little bit more right there. And then I'll just do the path over here as well. I'm just gonna bring it around from this dirt path over to, like, with the other side just right past where the steps are. And then I will put a garden, another little flower garden, that area there, so now I'll just fill this in a little bit more. And then do the same thing with the dirt and the gravel. So hopefully using the dirt and the gravel is a good enough way to set this apart without having it look too busy, because I just didn't want to have straight rock, because I was worried that would be a little bit too much. So hopefully this is a good balance with that. So there we go. We have the stone path over here. I think that's about the same width. Yeah, I think that's fine. So now I'll just get this little bit over here, so just kind of coming right in here. And then I'll erase this little bit that sticks out past the diagonal wood. I could put this smaller, but then I noticed when you, well, I guess this is fine to have it on the smaller one. Sometimes when you, like, if you have it on the smaller brush, it deposits a little bit more. Okay, so I think that looks fine, so we'll just do the same thing over here. And now get the dirt and the gravel. And then back to the stone. Okay, so I think that's good, and then I'll just kind of fill in all the other spaces with some plants just to give some greenery in here. I think what I'm going to do first is put the roof and stuff like that onto the gazebo, just get that straightened out, because that might help with the landscaping, because it looks kind of odd right now with it just like this platform. So I'll get that, and I have to turn on the grid to be able to place it. Okay, good, so we can place the flooring or whatever up above it. So I'll just get that, and we can also get some columns, and I think right here, yeah, that's right above it. Okay, that's good. So now I'm just gonna get the columns in here. And this isn't a very big arch, like there's not really, gazebo, there's not really going to be much room for an arch. But I'm not going to put any columns in the middle of it because I don't want to interrupt the view coming out of there too much, but I don't think it's a big deal to have the gazebo in the way. But above it, I think just using a hipped roof might be fine. Or maybe we want the gable roof. Let me try the gable. Not sure whether I like the hip roof or the gable roof more. I think I kind of like the gable roof. Maybe we can curve it a little bit too. That might look sort of nice, just to have it slightly curved. And I do think it needs to be a little bit lower. And then now we can just get this on it, get the trim, change the roof color. And we also gotta get this trim as well, and then lastly get the color. Yeah, I think the gable roof looks sort of cozy. I like that. And then let's see how how it looks from the inside with that now. Okay, so back here, you can still see over it to the lake pretty well. Yeah, you can still see a lot of what's out here, even with that there, so I think it's fine. So now I'm just going to put all the walls back up, put the grid back in, and then add in the plants back here. So I'm just going to take this shrub and have it on either side right here. There is going to be a little bit of overflow, I guess, like it's going to overflow into here onto the wood a little bit, but I think that's fine. And then we'll just have this there, and I think another little flower. Okay, so that's fine, so we've got that right there. And just get the dirt terrain paint under that. And then as for right here, I'm just going to put, it might look, it's kind of going to the pool a little bit, but I think that does look sort of cool. Okay, look, rotate. Okay, for some reason I wasn't wanting to rotate the way I wanted to. Okay, go down on the correct level. One problem is this isn't a lot of space to work with, so it's not really wanting to cooperate. I don't know if going all the way down levels will help any. No, it's not. I really wanted to use this. I might have to just rotate it. Okay, I'm just gonna rotate this way. Okay, this is... that kind of works, I guess. It's going out a little further than I want, but there's not really much I can do about that. And for some reason, holding down Alt while I place it is not doing any good. I really want this to go... Okay, okay, I don't think these plants are going to work right here. There's just not enough space to use them. So I think just using some smaller plants is going to be what we have to do, which is fine. Maybe we can fit one of these right in the center. If I can get it in there. Okay, so that's too far out. Can I just get that in a little bit? Okay, we're not gonna be able to put anything that size in. We're gonna have to go just with only smaller plants. So we can use this one. Maybe, okay, no, lavender won't fit. What else is there that's small? So we can try this. We can get some new plants in back here. We can also try this. Okay, never mind, that's a larger one. What about... Okay, we already used that. So we can try this, and then maybe just a random rock. So we just have like a rock right here. Although I think just having a few plants is fine. So I can just use this pink plant right here. Maybe some lavender. Oh, I think that could look nice. To put a little bit of lavender in there. How actually the lavender looks a little bit out of place. Yeah, I'll just use this. And then we can also get just get the terrain paint in there now. Alright, this is coming together, and then now we just gotta get the plants over here. So I'm just gonna have this shrub on either side of the steps. I think that would look nice. And then just get this here. And like with the other side, I will have a rock border garden, but it's just gonna come to here. Because there's not really enough space for it to extend around over here. Okay, so now I'm gonna go and border this off with rocks. At least this is a small garden, so it won't take as long to do as the other ones. Actually, it's the same rock that I used there, so I don't want to use that. And then lastly, this one. We'll just rotate it that way. Alright, so now we can fill this in. I think that one of these here, we definitely need to get some ferns in. Also want to get this down. And how about one of those? Maybe another rock in here as well. And perhaps another fern. I think another fern would be nice. And oh yeah, we also need some of those wildflowers. Just for a little bit of color. And then I think just one last plant here is fine. Okay, so that's done. That was done pretty quick. And I do want to see how this looks all the way up on the top floor. So that is coming along. That is coming along pretty nicely. But actually right here, what if I just brought the pool all the way back up to the building? I don't know. I think I kind of like that with the plants there more, so never mind. And then moving on right here, I did want to have some rocks with a fountain coming out of it. I think there is a fountain that shoots outwards, I hope. Okay, yes, there is. Okay, so we're going to use that. We're just going to hide in some rocks. And I do want to size up the rock a bit. So I'm just going to put some larger rocks back here. Just make this like, just kind of like, I guess, a rock garden with a few plants popping out of it. I think that would look pretty cool. So we have some larger rocks, some smaller rocks. I think we need just one larger rock. And then I'll fill it in with the smaller ones. And then some plants. So I think this is going to look pretty cool once it's done. And then last one right here. I also did want to get those low-lying flowers down as well. I just really like them because they just give kind of a mossy appearance. I really like using them in Granite Falls builds. And then maybe just a fern. Do we want to have just a fern sticking up? Although that's not really realistic. That's kind of like just randomly going through the rocks. Maybe just some smaller ones. So we could just have this right here. And then we also need something back here. So I'm going to put another one of these right in here. Okay, that's good. And then now for the terrain paint. And then after that, the fountains. And then maybe a little bit more. I think this does need to be filled in a little bit more. Because I don't really want to see the dirt right there on the ends. So I kind of want it to look like these plants are growing into the pool a little bit. So this doesn't quite make the pool look like a pond. But I still do think it gives kind of a natural look that fits in with the theme of this place. Okay, so now we're just gonna get the one that pushes, I think, this one. This is a leaping water. Maybe we want spraying water. So maybe I think we want this one. Maybe a larger one. Is there a larger one? Okay, so there's medium spring. Okay, I think this one's more what we want. So we can just hide it in the rocks. And then have some rotated coming out of about the same spot. And I think that is about in the center here. Okay, so let's get a look at that. I think that's pretty cool. I think it has sort of a spa-like look to it. I don't think I'm gonna get this whole yard. Well, I'm not gonna get this whole yard finished in this part, but I at least am making pretty good progress on it. I feel like there needs to be some kind of border around this, so I'm gonna try using this. I just really wish that there was a wood fence though, because I don't like how that looks, but I do want there to be somewhat of a border. We could try this, or not. I meant to click on this, but I don't really feel like that quite fits in. I just wish there was a really low-lying short wood fence, but unfortunately there isn't. I could also try just using the same wood fence that was used on the decking. Maybe that would look fine around it. Okay, so we can't do that. So perhaps that's fine, maybe just having the wood fencing around it. You guys can let me know what you think of this. I just didn't really like any of the lower lying ones. I don't think stone would really work. But I just feel like there needs to be something to kind of set this apart. I think that this looks fine. I wish I could raise it up slightly. Not as much as this foundation, but just have it be slightly. But unfortunately, I can't really do that. But I'm going to just touch up the path a little bit so it looks like it meets right where the railing is. And then this one I'm going to have to bring out a little bit. So I think it was dirt first, then the gravel, and then the stone back over it. And a little bit of touching up right here. And then I think these over here are pretty good, maybe a little bit off here. And let's go over here and see this. Okay, I think that this fence looks pretty good in here. So now I'm just gonna get a few plants in here. So I like this, but yeah, I like that. I think I'm gonna keep that there. I do really like these shrubs. They're really pretty. So I'm just gonna have these on either side of this. Actually, I'm gonna push that a little bit more. You know what? I won't have it on the out. I'll put something else on the outer side of it. Maybe just. I don't know. I'll figure that out. I'll figure that out in the next part, I guess. Because this shrub's a little bit. Actually, let me see how a smaller one looks, because that shrub might be a little bit too much. Okay, so let me try putting this one over here. Actually, I think I like that more. Yeah, I'll just do something else around this side. Like maybe I'll just have... actually, maybe I can just do that really quick. So I was thinking around this side, I could just have this, and then just have plants kind of go around the back of it. The only problem is there's like one square between the edge of the lot and this. So on second thought, maybe I just want to have a smaller plant and a rock. So we can just do this, and then a rock, since we can't really fit that in. So I think that's fine. We can get a different kind of flower over here, so it's not the same exact thing on both sides. So I think this is, yes, that's a different one. So we'll do this, and then a different kind of rock. And then there's just really not a whole lot of room right here for other plants. I might be able to stick a few small ones, but there's just really not a whole lot of room to work with right there. But I will just stick some terrain paint on under the edge of the foundation. Okay, so the back of this is really coming along. I do like how it looks, and we still got plenty of room for a campfire and a horseshoe pit and some more plants and such in the other areas. I might change the walls in here. I kind of want to go with a brown color for the walls and the bottom of the pool. So is that actually this color used in there? We could try this. We could try this lighter color. Maybe the wall that was used has a matching one as well. Okay, let's try this. No, I think this one. I think that works. I mean, the pool's kind of blue, so there's not really a whole lot you can do about that. I mean, it's gonna be brown. Yeah, it's gonna look blue no matter what. But I think at least changing the floor walls to be brown helps with that some. So I think in the next part, I'll focus on putting the furnishing out on the decks, you know, both out here and also on here. But for the remainder of this part, I'll just get some trees and do more of the landscaping type stuff. So I'm gonna put in the cluster of smaller pine trees over here. That's a magnolia tree. I think this is another one. But that is pretty. Maybe we could use that and mix it with some pines. I think this was, yeah, this was a pine tree. So we could just have these over here. Although with that, I think the magnolia tree just kind of looks out of place. So I'll just do these. Maybe we can do 2 or 3 of these. And then a stump, or maybe 2 of them in a stump. Let's try 2 of them in a stump. So I'll just get one of these. I'm going to have it over here like there used to be one. And then it just got cut down. So I think that looks sort of nice. Over here, perhaps we could get another one. I wonder if the darker color of this matches the color of those trees. Not quite, but okay, that's a little bit large. There was also the table. If I can get into outdoor furnishing, there was the table, which was a little bit bigger. So we could also try the table around these clusters. So we can just have it here. And I think this color maybe... Actually, I don't know. Maybe I'll just leave it at that one stump over here. And then I'm just going to put some plants around this that kind of looks like natural growth rather than being landscaped. Like perhaps some of the... where was it? The grass. So we'll just have some grass around it. And then maybe a little bit of this in here as well. And then I think also some more ferns, of course. So I'll just go with the larger fern here. So just make this, I just want to make this look like it's a lot of growth. We can also try some of these. Perhaps some rocks. So I think that might be enough around here, because I may be having this come out a little bit more. We can also kind of see what they've done around, because I want this to match some of the landscaping that's around the lot. Yeah, so I mean this looks like a bit like what we've got going in the surrounding area. Okay, I think that looks good, so now we're ready for a little bit of terrain paint underneath of that. And I'm just going to go with the larger brush so it puts it down a little bit less. And then just get in here. Okay, I think that looks pretty nice, although I think we just need one rock right here in the front, just right here. So you can hardly see that tree stump, but I think that's fine. I think it looks kind of neat having it sort of hidden. So right here I think would be a good spot for a horseshoe pit. And then I will do a little bit of landscaping underneath this one. Oh, I do notice that around here they have some of the gravel around the plant, so maybe I can get a little bit of that going on around it. So I think after I do the terrain painting underneath those trees, I'm going to end this part. I'm not exactly sure how long it's going to end up being, but I'm probably... Ooh, this does look nice, having the gravel underneath. Ooh, I like that. Maybe a little bit more dirt. Maybe that was a little bit too much dirt. Do you notice it does seem like they kind of mix in some of the darker dirt terrain paint? So I gotta say, the landscaping or the terrain painting in this world's really detailed. Okay, well, we'll just go back to how that was before I put that dirt in. Okay, I think that's fine. And going over here, I think some sized up rocks in between the tree, sized up rock between the tree would be good. So we just have a few of those, since that seems to be what's surrounding it. And perhaps a smaller one. And then just gotta get some shrubs around it. And around here as well, and then I think another fern would be nice, and maybe one of these as well. Yeah, so I think that looks pretty cool. Maybe some grass for good measure too. Yeah, I think that's enough right there. So now I'm just gonna get the dirt and gravel terrain paint underneath of it. So get a little bit of the gravel in. And then like what they did out there, I will use a slightly darker one underneath the tree. So that is about all that I'm going to do in this part. Let me take off the grid so we can get a look around. I do think a good bit of progress was made. Actually, oh, maybe I should bring this over far enough. I didn't realize this was so much further over, but I'll have to fix that next part. I do like this area that's going on right here, especially with the fountains. I think that when you're in the game and when it's actually unpaused, it would look pretty neat having that in there, and I think it'll look even nicer when we've got some chairs and such on here. So I'm thinking along here I'll have tables and chairs with umbrellas over them on both sides. I think that would look nice. So that way, you know, if you do use this for a wedding, if you can, I actually haven't checked whether or not they can get married. I mean, if they can't, then this is still fine, because I could put a grill in here or something like that. Maybe have it be some benches looking outwards over the lake. You know, even if I can't have a wedding arch in this, it's still useful to have there. But if I am able to have a wedding arch in here, this could be kind of the eating area for the reception. But I'm going to work on that in the next part. The next part I'm also going to add in the horseshoe pit and the fire pit. I think that's mostly it that needs to be done. And then also add in the furniture on the decks. I think once the furniture is all in and everything's done, this will look a bit better. But I do think that this is a good start for it. And it is an inn, of course, so the landscaping is going to be a little bit busier, more manicured looking than it would with a house. Like if it was with a house, I wouldn't be doing all of this, but since it's supposed to be a community lot, I think this is appropriate. But before ending the part, I'm just going to show one last look at everything that was done. As usual, let me know your thoughts on what was done in this part. Thanks for watching, and bye!